All right, let's jump right into this because there is something, well, something really strange happening with XDC right now. It's like we're watching two completely opposite stories unfold at the exact same time. And, in this explainer, we're going to try and figure out what is actually going on. So this is the big puzzle, right? On one side, you've got the price chart, and honestly, it looks pretty grim, kind of bearish. But then on the other side, you have this insane explosion of positive news, like really good fundamental developments. So what gives? What's the real story? Which narrative are we supposed to believe? Let's dig in and find out. Okay, so first things first, let's tackle the bearish case. We've got to start with the chart and see what the price action is telling us at this very moment. And yeah, if you're just looking at the chart, the trend is, well, it's pretty clear. XDC is stuck in a short-term downtrend. It's actually retesting a major low from back in October. And here's the kicker. What used to be a support level, a floor, is now acting as a ceiling, as resistance. It keeps pushing the price down. I mean, that's textbook bearish stuff right there. But even with all that bearishness, there might be a little glimmer of hope starting to form. See that pattern? It's what technical analysts call an inverse head and shoulders. Now, if, and that's a big if this pattern actually plays out, it could signal a huge reversal. We're talking about flipping this whole trend from down to up. But, and this is important, it's not confirmed yet. It's just a possibility for now. So everything really hinges on this one number, 5.15 cents. That's the magic number. For any of that bullish hope to even have a chance, XDC has to break above that level and, just as importantly, stay above it. Until that happens, you gotta admit, the bears are still technically running the show. All right, so we've seen the chart. Now let's completely switch gears and look at the other side of this coin, because this is where things start to get really, really weird. While the price has been doing, well, not much, XDC has been hit by this absolute tidal wave of new exchange listings. And I'm not kidding, 9. That number is 9. In a ridiculously short amount of time, XDC has managed to get listed on 9 new exchanges. And you have to understand, for a project where the community used to have to beg and plead for every single listing, this is just, it's a monumental shift. Yeah, and it's the speed that's just mind-boggling here. We are not talking about 9 listings spread out over a year. Nope. We're talking about 9 listings in roughly 10 days. Just look at how fast this happened. It was bam, bam, bam. Pinex on the 20th, LA token the very next day, BTCC on the 26th, and then VX and WEX both drop on the 29th. It's just an absolute blitz. And look, these aren't some tiny no-name exchanges either. Let's just cherry pick 3 of them to see what we're dealing with. You've got BitMEX pulling in 3.2 million visits a week and doing 1.5 billion in daily volume. Then there's BTCC with another 2.2 million visits. Vuex adds another 2.1 million. I mean, the sheer scale of the new exposure here it's just off the charts. So let's put a bow on this. What does that all mean? Well, if you just add up the weekly visitors from these new exchanges, you're looking at a potential new audience of over 10 million people. 10 million people who suddenly have a super easy way to buy and trade XDC. For a project's accessibility, that is an absolute game changer. But here's the thing, it's not just about the listings. That's the crazy part. This seems to be just one symptom of a much broader acceleration that's happening across the entire XDC ecosystem. The listings are like the tip of the iceberg of a much bigger, much more bullish story. And we can see the proof right on the blockchain itself. The on-chain data totally backs this up. Just look at this. In the last 30 days, the number of monthly active addresses, so actual wallets using the network, has shot up by almost 95%. This isn't just market hype. This is real people and real activity picking up speed on the network. And the hits just keep on coming. The volume for the USDC stablecoin on XDC up 91%. The project is now ranked as the #2 real-world asset project out there by market cap. That's huge. There's a new DeFi bridge, Hermes, that just went live, which makes it way easier to get assets onto the network. And on top of all that, huge names like Forbes and Reuters are starting to cover them. The momentum is undeniable. Okay, so let's circle back. We've got this grumpy, bearish-looking chart on one side, and on the other, an absolute fireworks show of fundamental growth. So, how do we square this? How do we connect these two seemingly
opposite stories to figure out what it all means for where XDC is headed. I mean, the difference between the XDC of the past and the XDC of right now is just, it's night and day. It used to be this project that had to claw and fight for every single listing with almost no marketing. And now it's facing an avalanche of listings, it's getting featured in the mainstream media, and it's being exposed to millions of new users. We are looking at a totally different beast now.
So the big question is, why is this so important? Why do all these listings really matter? Well, this quote kind of nails it. Think about it. When a big price pump happens, what stops it from just fizzling out? Liquidity. You need a ton of buyers and sellers across a bunch of different exchanges to keep that momentum going up. All these new listings, they're basically building the launchpad needed for a much, much bigger move in the future. And that really brings us to the ultimate question, doesn't it? The price chart seems to be asleep at the wheel, but the fundamentals are absolutely screaming from the rooftops. So, with millions of new people getting access, with an ecosystem that's clearly hitting its stride, and with all this new liquidity in place, you have to wonder, is it just a matter of time before the price wakes up and catches up to the reality on the ground? And that right there is the billion-dollar question.
Stay ahead in the crypto market. Subscribe now for the latest global news and updates.